Have you ever felt like the universe is against you? What if I told you that every obstacle is a stepping stone in disguise? It's a thought that crosses our minds when we're caught in the whirlwind of life's challenges. The overwhelming feeling that everything is going wrong, that the world is turning against us. But what if I told you that this feeling is not a sign of defeat but rather a signal of transformation? In the realm of Christianity, there's a belief that goes beyond our understanding of the physical world. It's the concept of divine planning, the idea that every event, every challenge, every joy and sorrow we encounter is not random, but a part of a grand design woven by God Himself. It's a plan that's unique to each one of us, designed with love and wisdom beyond human comprehension. This concept is not something new or foreign. It's deeply rooted in the sacred scriptures of the Bible, verses like Jeremiah 29:11, where God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Or Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." These verses underpin the belief that every challenge we face is not a roadblock, but a stepping stone towards a greater purpose. A purpose that is aligned with God's divine plan for us. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? To know that even in our darkest moments, there's a divine hand guiding us, leading us towards a brighter tomorrow. However, understanding God's plan is not about predicting the future or avoiding hardships. It's about embracing the journey, trusting in the divine plan, and transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and spiritual development. So the next time you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, remember this. Each challenge we face is not a roadblock, but a part of a grander plan. In the Christian faith, we believe in a divine plan, a plan God has for each of us. This isn't a plan that we scribble down in a hurry on a piece of napkin or hastily type into a phone note. No, this is a divine blueprint crafted by the greatest architect of all, our God. In the Bible, this concept is beautifully encapsulated in the book of Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This divine plan isn't a roadmap with a fixed destination. Instead, it's like a compass, always pointing us towards God's love, regardless of the trials and tribulations we may face. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from some of our spiritual leaders. Reverend Lucy, a prominent spiritual guide, once shared, "God's plan is not always about taking the easiest route, but about shaping us into individuals of strength, compassion, and faith." She emphasized that while we may not always understand the path we're on, we must trust in the divine plan, for it's designed for our ultimate good, and it's not just Reverend Lucy. Spiritual leaders across the globe echo this sentiment. They remind us that while we may feel like a tiny boat tossed in a stormy sea, we're never adrift. For God, our divine helmsman, is always at the helm, guiding us towards calm waters and sunny shores. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge that makes you question your journey, remember Proverbs 3 verse 5. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Have faith that God's plan is unfolding exactly as it should, leading you towards growth, resilience, and divine love. Remember, His plans for us are plans of hope and a future. So, let's trust in the divine plan, knowing that even when the winds of life blow fiercely, we are held securely in the loving hands of God. Let's hear from some who have seen God's plan unfold in their lives. Imagine a woman named Sarah. She was a single mother of two, struggling to make ends meet. Sarah felt like she was fighting against a storm, barely keeping her head above water, but she held on to her faith. She believed that God had a plan for her, even if she couldn't see it. Sarah prayed for strength and guidance every day, and then, unexpectedly, she got a job offer that transformed her life. She went from worrying about the next meal to providing a stable home for her children. Sarah's faith in God's plan carried her through her darkest times. Then there's James. James was a successful businessman, but he felt empty inside. He had everything one could wish for: money, status, a beautiful home, yet he was not happy. He felt like he was missing something vital in his life. So James decided to take a leap of faith. He sold his business and used the money to build a shelter for the homeless in his city. Today, James says he's never been happier. He found purpose and satisfaction in serving others. God's plan for James wasn't about wealth or status, it was about compassion and generosity. And let's not forget about Emma. Emma was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. It felt like her world was falling apart, but Emma refused to let fear consume her. She leaned on her faith and believed that God had a plan for her. She prayed for healing, strength, and courage. Despite the odds, Emma's health improved. Today, she is a motivational speaker, inspiring others with her story of faith and resilience. Emma's journey was tough, but it led her to a purpose she never imagined. These stories demonstrate that even in our darkest hours, God is working for our good. So next time you feel like the universe is against you, remember Sarah, James, and Emma. Remember that God's plan may not always be clear, but it is always for our benefit. Keep the faith and trust that God is the best of planners. So how can we better trust in God's plan during our own trials? Well, embracing God's plan is a journey, not a destination. It's about the small steps you take every day in faith and hope. First, acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to be scared, to be anxious. These are human emotions. But remember, fear is a reaction, courage is a decision. Decide to be courageous. Next, take a pause and pray. Praying is not just asking God for help, it's about seeking His guidance, His wisdom, and His peace. It's about opening your heart to divine possibilities. You might not get the answers immediately, but you will feel a sense of calm, a sense of clarity that will guide your next steps. Remember to look for the signs. God often communicates through subtle hints, synchronicities, and unexpected events. He sends messages through people and situations. Be open, be observant. Another important step is to read and reflect on the scriptures. The Bible is a reservoir of wisdom, of divine guidance. Passages like Jeremiah 29 verse 11, where it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Or Romans 8 verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." These are not just verses, they are divine promises. They remind us that we are part of a grand, divine plan, a plan that is for our ultimate good. And finally, keep the faith. Trusting in God's plan is about unwavering faith, even in the face of adversity. It's about believing that every challenge is a stepping stone towards a greater purpose, a greater good. So, the next time you face a challenge, take a moment to pray for clarity, look for the signs, reflect on the scriptures, and hold on to your faith. Trust that a better plan is unfolding because, remember, God is the best of planners. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and be a part of our vibrant prayer community. We're all on this journey together, so let's support one another. If the message of trusting in God's plan resonates with you, if you've felt a spark of hope or a reassurance of faith, let's celebrate that. Type Amen in the comments below. Let's fill this space with affirmations of faith and trust. Now, here's a proposition for you all. Let's take this a step further. Starting today, let's embark on a week-long Trust in God's Plan challenge. Each day, let's commit to a small act of faith. It could be a prayer, a moment of gratitude, or even a kind act towards someone else. By actively engaging, we can experience God's plan unfolding in our lives. Join us in this challenge to deepen our trust in God's plan. Let's conclude with a prayer that encompasses the themes we discussed today. Dear God, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude. We thank you for your divine wisdom and the intricate plans you have for each of us. We acknowledge that your understanding surpasses ours and that your plans are far greater than what we can fathom. In times of difficulty, strengthen us, Lord. Help us to remember that every challenge is a stepping stone, part of your grand design. Instill in us a steadfast trust in your divine plan and let us not be swayed by temporary hardships. Grant us the grace to embrace the journey and the patience to wait for your perfect timing. We know that, in the end, everything works together for our good because we trust in you, our loving Father. Trust the journey, for God is the best of planners.